Hey, Shalom, Malcolm, Shalom. First and foremost, as always, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachakodash. I would like to give double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth, and that's still teaching this truth. And as always, I want to give much peace, love, and salutation to the elect, beginning with the 144,000 all the way down to the large multitude that believes, and who the Lord will deliver in these last days. To you all I say Shalom. I'm the brother Tazamah from the Great Millstone Dallas camp, coming back today with another lesson. And I pray that this lesson will be edifying to the elect. And I wanted to go in and do a lesson on the whole concept of how USAID, which is an acronym, which I believe it means U.S. United States Agency of International Development, which we really know it's this wine, you know, Esau's wine that he pushes and promotes throughout all these various different nations, whether it be, you know, him going into another nation, you know, taking it over, you know, making up some sort of false, you know, F flag, I'll say it like that, and then using a psyops to go up in there, you know, and remove the leader and then set up a puppet leader, you know, which ultimately, you know, you've seen that happen in, you know, you've seen that happen in Libya, you've seen it happen in Afghanistan, Iraq, you know, they pretty much succeeded to a degree in doing it in Syria, you know, Venezuela. You know, you have the United States that's used its military, all right, to go in and really it's military and it's financial sector, which is all part of this whole beast system that's gone into these various different nations and spread his philosophies, okay? And you know, real quick, that goes into the scripture here in Jeremiah. All right, the 51st chapter, Jeremiah 51, verse 7. All right, and it reads here, it says, Babylon hath been a golden cup in Yahweh's hand that made all the earth drunken. All right, and this Babylon here is not talking about the Neo Assyrian Babylonian Empire or the Neo Babylonian Empire, you know, ran by Nebuchadnezzar. All right, this Babylon here is talking about America. All right, this new Babylon that will come on the scene, all right, and pretty much gain control over the whole earth using the beast system. You remember, all right, America is the whore that rideth upon the beast, all right, and with America being the whore that rides upon the beast, pretty much meaning that America's policies and its ways controls, for the most part, all right, this beast system. All right, so it says, Babylon hath been a golden cup in Yahweh's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, and that wine is going into philosophies, you know, spreading forth immorality and decadence. You know, I remember Kamala Harris went to the, I want to say it was the Congo, and pretty much spread that whole LGBTQ ideology, and they wasn't with that, which that's a part of Babylon's wine. Okay, so it says the nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. And when you get that word mad, all right, when you get that word mad here, all right, that word mad in the Hebrew is halal, all right, and it says to shine, figurative of the Most High's favor, to flash forth light, to praise, boast, be boastful, but it also means to be foolish, as you see here. To make a fool of, make into a fool, to act madly, act like a madman, and that's what ultimately that's what wine does. You know, wine also it pretty much inebriates you. You know, it pretty much takes you out of your character. You know, and you're not in your right mind, and that's pretty much what America has spread to these various different nations, to the point to whereas now you have to a degree women's liberation that was happening in Afghanistan. You know, whereas women were standing up, you know, rising up against the policies that they have set forth. You know, you have morality taking place in these various different nations. You know, and you know, that's part of the wine and philosophies that that America pushed, or pushes, I rather say, to these various different nations. Okay, and all this stuff, you know, with Donald Trump being in office, but it's all a setup at the end of the day. Okay. You know, it's all a ploy and a setup, but you know, you have the USAID being or USAID being audited, for lack of better words, by Donald Trump and Elon Musk with Doge, which is the Department of Governmental Efficiency. A lot of these particular policies that have been used, where you have like CFR, the Council of Foreign Relations, the World Health Organization, which America pulled out of that. I won't be surprised if they start going into the IMF. All these various different policies that are set up, that are really used to spread forth the wine is being spoken out against, and it's really Esau's tongue falling upon himself, and that's the point that I want to get with this lesson. Okay, let me get one more precept real quick. This is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 15. It says, "Woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, that putteth thy bottle to him." And that bottle, once again, is figurative of the wine, the philosophies, the quote unquote democracy, right? It says that thou mayest look on their nakedness. You see, because with America's and Babylon's and its policies that it pushes through this beast system, it ultimately makes these various different nations shameful. At one point, the nations had some sort of modesty to themselves. They wasn't with the whole morality agenda. They're a woman wearing some sort of order. Okay. The family structure was the family structure at one point was somewhat intact to a degree, until America goes up in there using their news media. They'll use their news media and promote an individual like a dictator or a bad ruler. They use their propaganda to wage war. That's why the scriptures talk about it. Says they are continually woe unto the violent man. He's continually at war. It's another scripture in Psalm 53, I want to say it is, that says that who sharpeneth his tongue like a razor. And that's Esau using his his news media and his propaganda to wage forth his war on these various different nations to push forth his agendas. But all that stuff's being uncovered, and it's all really through the spirit of poverty, Yahweh Shem Shai, ultimately at the end of the day. All right, now, somebody may ask once again, what is USAID? That's an acronym for the United States Agency of International Development. All right, it says, what is the purpose of USAID? Because this has been something that's just been in the news as of late, and you could think, it says, it's USAID, but, to a degree, that's really not what it's not USAID, it's USAID. It's all letters are acronyms. It says, the U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID, helps countries develop economically, reduce poverty, which they don't really help the country develop economically. They really, use debt. All right, they'll use debt to pretty much subjugate the country. Then they'll use particular policies, rooted in the IMF, the International Monetary Fund. They'll go over there, like I said, destroy the leader, put a puppet leader up, and then with all these different policies, they'll use the IMF to gather all these different funds and really put the country in debt. And that's how they pretty much rule. They rule by the means of credit, and that pretty much, and the scripture says that the servant is subject, the borrower is subject to the lender. And that's how really Esau has gotten a foothold and gotten extremely rich, is through debt. So it says help countries develop economically, reduce poverty, which they don't really reduce poverty, they bring forth poverty. You look at particular places like I mentioned earlier, Libya, Syria, Iraq, Afghanistan. Shit, look at Gaza right now. If you look at before and after images of how it was before war broke out and how it was after, America done put their foot up in there. It's like night and day. You may have seen trees, buildings, greenery and things of that nature. Then when he's done with it, it's completely devastated and destroyed, man. Okay, it says reduce poverty and establish democratic. Okay, democratic. It's a key word there, because now, you have once again you have Donald Trump Once again, this is all set up. This is all, he's doing what he's told to do. At the end of the day, he's still part of all this, right? It says, and establish democratic governments. And underneath the Democratic Party, man, all kinds of morality or immorality. I meant to say all kinds of immorality and decadence get spread, man, and that's a fact. It says USAID also provides humanitarian aid to countries recovering from disasters, but they're the ones that bring the disasters. They're the ones that bring all the different situations that happen. Okay, it says end extreme poverty, promote democratic societies, which is that wine, which is really, going in, it doesn't matter if it's Democratic or Republican at the end of the day. Scripture says that he had two horns like a lamb, but he spake as a dragon. Letting you know that it doesn't matter if it's Democratic or Republican, leftist, like left wing or right wing, it doesn't matter. It's all still part of the same beast. And they're all pushing forth the same agenda. Strengthen economic growth, which we went into that. Combat disease, and they bring forth the disease. The biological warfare. Hell, look at how America was established. Look how America was established when they pretty much waged war on the Native Americans, man. Look at that. They pretty much brought forth disease to kill off a lot of Jake that was over here, and they still do that. Address food insecurity. Help countries recover from disasters. Create markets and trade partners for the United States. You see, they create markets and trade partners for the United States. Okay, which it pretty much gets these countries into subjection. Ultimately, at the end of the day, to whereas now they're pretty much, they're subject to the whore. Okay, that's why whenever America falls by default. Like it says in Revelation, the 18th chapter, when America falls by default, all these various different nations that are tied in are going to fall. It's going to be a global collapse. It's not just going to be America falling and Russia's still intact, China's still intact. When I say intact, what I mean is their government is still operating successfully, and then all of a sudden China is going to be the next world war. No, that's not going to happen, man. All these various different markets are all affected by America's decision making. Okay, it says foster good will abroad. Let's see, and that's mainly all I'm gonna read. Like I said, you can go into it. It was founded by John F. Kennedy. But let's go into this article here that I have put up, and then we'll get some more precepts and get out of here. This is from I don't even want to say the website because hopefully I don't flag my page. You know what I'm saying? Because his videos, matter of fact, let me do it like this. Let me read it from here because I don't want them to flag my page when they see Alec Jones' website on YouTube. They might flag my video, so I don't want that to happen. But this is from the peoplesvoice.tv, which is where they got the original article from. All right, it says DOGE, which that's an acronym for Department of Governmental Efficiency. Which when you go into that, I've been kind of going into some research with that, linking, particular aspects of Doge with, the Roman Empire and Nero, and how there's some similarities between, the policies of the Roman Empire, the policies of that were taking place between Nero and the Roman Empire, and the same things that you see today, where you got quote unquote corrupt officials that are being investigated, this particular department being investigated. All that was happening during the Roman Empire as well too, specifically during the reign of Nero. So it says Doge investigators uncover evidence USAID funded Hamas, ISIS, and Al Qaeda, which this is something that we already know. All right, this is something that those of us that are in the know, it's already been revealed. And they'll use these particular agencies because that's all that they are. They're all part of alphabet agencies, funded by the C to the I to the A, the F to the B to the I, all these particular little groups that just pop up. Who do you think's behind it? It's America, Okay, so it says Doge investigators have uncovered evidence that billions of dollars from the United States Agency for International Development was sent to the word there, who were ordered to kill American soldiers abroad. You know, and they'll call it, you know, they'll call it this quote unquote war on terrorism. But they're the ones that are bringing forth the terror abroad. Did I finish up that scripture in Habakkuk? Actually, let's continue. This is verse, because I did finish verse 15, but let's read verse 16. It says, thou art filled with shame for glory. You see that? Thou art filled with shame for glory. So America's, you know, glory days are done. And you have Donald Trump trying to bring back, you know, the glory days of America, make America great again, yada, yada, yada. When that's, you know, America's not going to be made great again. You know, all these particular agencies and things of that nature, they're all being investigated. You know, they're all being investigated. I think, hopefully it doesn't go again. But yeah, they're all being investigated, you know. And the scripture says that we would have healed Babylon, but Babylon cannot be healed. Okay, it says, drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. You see, and your foreskin represents, you know, uncleanness. You see, in all of America's unclean policies and ways, you know, all of Esau, really, because that's what it all boils down to, is Esau, Edom. All of Esau's ways and his quote unquote his glory days are all being revealed, that this man used wickedness to gain power, and it was given to him. It says, the cup of Yahweh's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. And that's exactly what you see going on right now. Okay, shameful spewing is being put on Esau's glory, and he's not really showing forth to be this big, you know, this individual who's just full of you know, who's just full of being godlike, you know, white, all this white, this, and you know, God bless America, that, and you know, it's all rooted in witchcraft. It's all rooted in decadence. It's all rooted in left-hand energy, and all of it's being exposed. Okay, it says USAID sent 9.3 billion to Islamic terrorist states that killed 3,000 American soldiers. It says, and over 18 billion to Islamic terrorist states. Investigative reporter Daniel Greenfield declared Monday. It says, in what may be viewed as the Hegelian dialectic of problem. And what is Hegelian dialectic? Hegelian dialectic is pretty much problem, reaction, solution. All right, they bring forth the problem to wage forth, all right, a reaction, and they have the solution already written up in laws. Okay, the simplest explanation of Hegel's dialectics is this: a thesis, an argument, right, is proposed, generating a counter argument, the antithesis, right? They bring forth the problem to wage forth the reaction, and they have a solution already set up. And that's ultimately what they're going to do with the MOTB. You know, they're the ones that are bringing forth these various different issues, you know, whether it be worldwide or within, you know, to wage forth a reaction out of people, you know, and then ultimately they'll have the solution already set up. You know, the scripture says that that they prescribe woe unto them, what's that, Isaiah the 10th chapter? Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousnesses which they have prescribed. And that word prescribe, pre meaning before, then scribe means to write. That's why you can have, you know, something go down, and there's already a 1,500 page, 2,000 page law that's already written the next day. Why do you think? How do you think they wrote it just that night? No, it was already preset. But they just had to have the perfect situation to come forth for them to be able to implement it. Okay? So going back, it says, in what may be viewed as the Hegelian dialectic of problem, reaction, solution, boom, I'm just going to say Usaid, I'm just saying it so, for quickness, right? Usaid funds groups which the U.S. can then fight, artificially creating a war market. Okay? And which one was it that said this? Let's see. Buy when blood is in streets. Forgot which Rothschild said this. Baron Rothschild. He said the time to buy is when there's blood in the streets. You see, because war is a racket. You see, they use war to ultimately bolster up their funds too. And you see the person who said this. Okay, this is one of the the families, one of the major families that are ruling the world. All right, in wickedness, one of the major Edomite families, man. Okay, it was by Baron Rothschild. All right, it says Somalia, along with other Islamic entities, including the Taliban in Afghanistan, the Houthis in Yemen, and Hamas in Gaza, were among the top beneficiaries of U.S. aid cash, investigative reporter Daniel Greenfield reported on Monday. A month before the U.S. aid scandal even began, sparked off by a government audit through the DOGE, or Department of Governmental Efficiency, then President-elect Donald Trump was discussing how the U.S. under Biden was funding the Taliban. And that's Esau's tongue falling upon himself, man, which is the basis point of this lesson. This is Psalm 64, just jumping straight to the point. Verse 8, so they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. You see, so all these various different, groups that have been set up, worldwide, and these proxies that have been set up are all it's all coming out that America was behind it, which is going to ultimately cause, which these nations know. We're here in America, but these various different nations who are abroad, and they see the American soldiers on the ground and seeing the things that they do, they know. But their leaders and their government gotta, keep them, what I'm saying? They gotta, they're under the hush hush because they're aware of it too. But Esau's tongue is falling upon himself, and this is also an inquisition being made into the ungodly, man. All right, this is 2nd Ezra chapter 6, verse 19, or verse 18. It says, and it said, behold, the days come that I will begin to draw nigh and to visit them that dwell upon the earth. Okay, and this is what the Lord is doing right now via his prophets, his signs and things that he's sending forth in the earth, whether it be earthquakes in diverse places, wars, rumors of wars, famines and pestilences and things of that nature. That's the Lord visiting the earth. Okay, it says, and will begin to make inquisition, which an inquisition is like an investigation of them, what they be that have hurt unjustly with their unrighteousness. Well, this is going into Esau. And when the affliction of Zion shall be fulfilled, and we know that we're at the end of our captivity. Okay, the affliction of Zion has been fulfilled. Now the curses are being put upon our enemies, man. Letting us know that we at the latter part of our captivity, and the next thing for it really to come is the MOTB, World War III. All right, and then Yahushua to return from the heavens, deliver the elect, destroy the 2/3 here in America, purge out the rebels, and then establish the kingdom of heaven on the planet Earth, and then ultimately the whole nation of Israel comes back righteous. And then the rest of the different heathen nations are going to be in subjection underneath the Israelites. Okay, that's the message. Let's listen to this real quick.
Many Americans are angry that we're sending millions of dollars every month to the Taliban. Do you anticipate?
It's not even.
And nobody says anything about the billions of dollars that are being sent over there to the true welfare children. over there in the J to the E to the W to the S's over there, so called. You see, you bring that kind of stuff out, it's a problem. But they sending money over there to Ukraine, but here it is at home. They just here it is at home. And when I say at home, I mean like here in America. You got people in extreme poverty. You got all kinds of issues taking place over here that these devils they could really fix it in the snap of a finger. You know, but here it is. They sending billions of dollars of aid, yearly, to these various different nations. But here it is at home. It's not the same. It's not the same. Why is that?
Unbelievable. Billions of dollars, not millions, billions. We pay billions of dollars to essentially the Taliban, Afghanistan. And that's given by Biden. That's the same man that took away $50 to $60 trillion worth of value from the United States. Think of it. Probably our most valuable asset. Took away our most valuable asset. This can't be allowed to happen. We are now a nation of common sense. When he does that, 625 million acres, this can't be allowed to happen. Thank you for the information.
But here it is, like I said earlier, it's still Revelation 13. It's still two horns like a lamb, but he spake as a dragon, because, they'll bring out these points and these facts, they'll bring out these points and these facts about, money being sent over here to the Taliban and Al Qaeda and ISIS and things of that nature, but they're behind it. And DJ Trump knows. The whole issue that happened, the whole issue on 10/7/2023. You think, like, come on now, man. It says, let's see. Trump is no stranger to the corrupt U.S. establishment funding the enemy, as the businessman repeatedly exposed Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama as the founders of, you see the word there, during his 2016 campaign. In 2022, YouTuber Britannica traveled to Afghanistan, and discovered USAID paraphernalia in the Taliban-held region. The findings were made at the 12-minute mark into the video, and they'll use this man Trump as if he's just this guy that's sent by God, and what I'm saying, he's exposing the corruptness in the government. Man, he's a part of it. It's controlled opposition, man. Okay, let's take a look at this real quick. Damn, gotta sign in now. Shit, I say hell no. But anyways, let's see. We'll read this last part. It says the funding of radical Islamic, you see the word there, states was numerous and lengthy. According to Daniel Greenfield's report, these included $2.3 billion for Somalia over the last 2 years, $2.1 billion to Gaza and the West Bank since the October 7 attacks. I mean, boom, it's letting you know right there what that was all about. Look up the Greater Israel Project. $3.7 billion to Afghanistan since the Taliban took over. $3.4 billion to Yemen over the last 5 years. $600 million to Pakistan over the last 5 years. $700 million to Iraq over the last 5 years. $3.4 billion to Syria over the last 5 years, and $1.1 billion to Lebanon. And they fund this as we read here, and it really could be more. But this goes into a point that that one, what was his name, General Flynn. General Flynn, 7 countries over 10 years or something like that. It might pop up. I know I spelled that wrong. Michael Flynn. Yeah, so let's take a look at this. This is from Al Jazeera, and I'm just gonna read the quote. Maybe got the clip from the video in there. I don't know if they do or not. Hold on. What's up with her chin? Let's see. Just bear with me. guess not. It's not in this article. I know there's videos on it. Maybe if I click videos, it might show up. Yeah, let's take a look at this real quick.
About 10 days after 9/11, I went through the Pentagon and I saw Secretary Rumsfeld and Deputy Secretary Wolfowitz. I went downstairs just to say hello to some of the people on the Joint Staff who used to work for me, and one of the generals.
Mind you, this is all USAID, Council of Foreign Relations, United States military, the war on terrorism and the war on this and the war on that. All this is back behind this, this concept, this concept here.
Called me and he said, "Sir, you gotta come in. You gotta come in and talk to me a second." I said, "Well, you're too busy." He said, "No." He says, "We've made the decision. We're going to war with Iraq." This was on or about the 20th of September. I said, "We're going to war with Iraq. Why?" He said, "I don't know." He said, "I guess they don't know what else to do." So.
And when we said they don't know what else to do, it makes me think of how, when Alexander the Great, the Greek, whenever he got done conquering, he pretty much cried, because he didn't have any more lands to conquer. And this is Esau, man, who rules with a sword. That great sword that was given to him. This is E.
I said, "Well, did they find some information connecting Saddam to Al-Qaeda?" He said, No. He says, "There's nothing new that way. They just made the decision to go to war with Iraq." He said, "I guess it's like we don't know what to do about terrorists, but we've got a good military and we can take down governments." And he said, "I guess..."
Boom. You heard what he just said. We have a good military and we can take down governments. He heapeth unto him, his whole desire is hell, and he heapeth unto him all nations, and gathereth unto him all people, as it says in Habakkuk 2.
If the only tool you have is a hammer, every problem has to look like a nail. But
a hammer and a nail. This is the hammer of the. Let's get that. The hammer of the hammer of the earth is broken. All right. Jeremiah 15:23. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? And that's talking about America. America's really the hammer. All these various different nations are the nails, and America's the hammer that goes around just hammering, hammering its policies down these various different nations' throats, man. And if you don't agree to it, they'll use their foreign, psyop proxy militaries, as we read in the article, to spread forth his wine, man. And then they'll bring forth these T to the E to the RRORIST ist, right? And then America will go over there and fight them, quote unquote. But they're the ones that set them up. I mean, we're hearing it out of the horse's mouth.
We've got a good military and we can take down governments. And he said, "I guess if the only tool you have is a hammer, every problem has to look like a nail." So I came back to see him a few weeks later, and by that time we were bombing in Afghanistan. I said, "Are we still going to war with Iraq?" And he said, "Oh, it's worse than that." He said, he reached over on his desk, he picked up a piece of paper, and he said, I just got this down from upstairs," meaning the Secretary of Defense's office today, and he said, "This is a memo that describes how we're going to take out 7 countries in 5 years.
I'm sorry. Damn, I rewinded by mistake. 7 countries in 5 years. I said 10 years by mistake, but they wanted to do 7 and 5, and they still doing it because, you have particular nations who, like Russia, back Syria, which kind of hindered their plans, But at the same time, they're still, formulating this plan, right?
Starting with Iraq and then Syria, Lebanon.
Iraq, Syria, Lebanon. These are 3 nations that they've definitely gone into as of lately.
Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and finish.
Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and they want to finish off what? I think he might say Iran.
Off Iran.
Iran. They literally telling you what, their own tongues fall apart. And this was back in 2003. Okay? So, this whole thing about the whole USAID and, you know, them being exposed and things of that, you know, Donald Trump is exposing the U.S. Man, it's all set up at the end of the day, man. Okay? And it's really the spirit of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua that's being placed upon, you know, these particular individuals to bring these things out. Psalm 7:15. He made a pit and digged it and is falling into the ditch which he made. And that's ultimately going to be the downfall of Esau. You know, the scripture says, you know, this is going into Antiochus Epiphanes, but you can liken it into today. You know, in Daniel the 8th chapter says, through his craft, through his policies, he causes crafts to prosper. And what's one of his policies? USAID, the Council of Foreign Relations, and many more, man. Many more. The WHO, the IMF. You know, all these various different policies that are set up. His mischief shall return upon his own head, and his violent dealing shall come down upon his own pate. Because these various different nations, you know, you know, that's the scripture that says what? Let the weak say that I'm strong. You know, ultimately these various different nations is going to jump Esau, man. Okay, and we're very, very close to that point. Okay. Proverbs 12:13, the wicked is snared by the transgression of his lips. You see that? The wicked is snared or trapped by the transgression of his lips, but the just shall come out of trouble. And that just is talking about the elect. When Jacob's trouble really hits this place and all hell breaks loose, the elect of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua are going to be protected and safe, man. Okay? But these devils, man, they're really, you know, they're really being snared up and trapped up, you know, based upon the things that they're saying. Excuse me. But I just want to go into this. You know, I've been seeing stuff about the USAID, and I've been trying to formulate, you know, a lesson going into breaking down what that really is all meaning. But I pray that this lesson was edifying to the elect of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. Once again, I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, Ba'Shem Chakudash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders, the great millstone that taught us his truth and that's what teaching is truth. Much peace, love, and salutations to the elect. Until next time, Lord willing, I say shalom.